Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsea. Today, I am excited to be sharing with you some new products that Stampin' Up! Has recently released. It's called the Waves of the Ocean product collection, and we'll get into that a little bit more. I'm also going to be sharing with you how I created these two cards that I made for the Stampin' Up! Artisan design team using the products in that collection. So I hope you stick around and watch me create these fun cards. If you are new to my channel and want to see more of my videos, click on the subscribe button and then the bell for notifications. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and help you with any of your paper crafting needs. To purchase any of the products you see me use today, please visit my online store and the link is in the description below. So let's go ahead and start off by talking about the products in this Waves of the Ocean collection by Stampin' Up! The first thing I want to share with you is the beautiful Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. This paper is 12 by 12 and you do get 12 sheets, so 2 of each of these double-sided patterns. And I have cut these down because I've used them on my projects, and so you're seeing a little smaller piece than 12 by 12, but you're getting a good idea of the patterns for each paper. So these papers are custom made by the designers over at Stampin' Up! And I have seen a video watching them create them, and they did some fun pouring techniques with paint and then used a heat gun to get those fun bubbles. And I just love the textures that are in these patterns. And then the other side just continues on with these beautiful colors and patterns. And they all have that feeling of the ocean to them. I love the brightness of these colors as well. So not only do they just stick with the blues, but they also bring in some pinks and yellows and oranges and greens. They're just beautiful papers. So the next product I want to share with you are the Blue Foils pack. This pack is another 12 by 12, and you're going to get 2 sheets of each of these foils. So they come in Night of Navy, then you've got a silver, and a Coastal Cabana. And you can see all that beautiful reflection happening. And then another fun product that is part of the collection is the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. And they come in 6 different colors from blue to green, and they coordinate well with this collection of products. So unfortunately, these 3 products are not going to be in the upcoming annual catalog. They are only while supplies last, or by May 2nd. So if you're interested in these products, make sure to jump over to my online store, and the link is listed below in the description, and get these before they're gone. But luckily, the stamp set and the dies will be in the upcoming catalog. And these are the Waves of Inspiration stamp set and the coordinating Waves dies. And there are 10 dies in here, and they're nice and big, and I use these a lot on my project, so we're going to definitely showcase these today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started making these cards. The first thing I want to show you is how to use the dies, and I've used them both with the foils. I've used the Night and Navy, Coastal Cabana, and silver foils. So we're going to go ahead and cut all of those at one time. So the wave dies are really detailed, and I feel like the best way to adhere to them to your project is with adhesive sheets. So on the back of your paper, you're going to add adhesive sheets, and you don't need to do it to the whole piece. You can do them in little sections because you're only, like this is wasted space in a way. So mine are going to be added to my paper like this. So this is kind of the area where I need to place that adhesive. So I've cut mine into strips of, they're about 1-inch strips, and you can just remove little sections and then add them to your paper. And then you can cut these into smaller pieces and kind of lay them across that area where the bottom piece will be. So this just gives you a little more bang for your buck instead of using a whole sheet. So you can see how I'm going to be getting a little bit of adhesive on all of that die cut right there. Okay, so now that I've added those adhesive sheets to the back of my foils, I do want to also mention that there are 2 different designs to the waves. And since I'm doing 3, I am going to have to do 1 2 times. Now for my silver card, I do like this one that has the 3 drops coming off of the wave more than I like the one with just the 2 drops. Let me see if you can see that. So 2 drops here, and then this one has 3 drops. And this is the one that I like. It's a little skinnier, has a little bit more detail. And so that's the one I want for my silver. And so I'm going to place this right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut one from the coastal, and then I'll cut a second one of that 3 drops from my Night of Navy. All right, so I've gone ahead and cut those out. My next step is to actually cut out some vellum that's in the same shape that will go behind each one of these foil sheets. And it just kind of helps define the shape. And if you know me and watch my channel, you know how much I love vellum. And so I've just added it behind each wave. So to do that, there isn't a die that is for that full wave shape that matches. So what I did is I took a vellum piece and a pencil, and I'm just going to go ahead and trace around the die. And then we're going to fussy cut this out. You may get a little bit of a pencil mark after you're done fussy cutting. And so you can just use a eraser to remove that. Okay, so I've cut that out. There is a little bit of a pencil line that is left over. So just take a good eraser and gently erase it all the way around. So I do need to now do this for the other 2 waves, and I will do that off camera and be right back. So I've just finished that, and now I'm ready to add my silver foil onto the vellum waves. So it's pretty simple. You just find where you have placed those adhesive sheets, pull off the paper. So when you add this to the vellum, you're going to want to make sure that it is in the center of the vellum. There will be a little border going around the wave of vellum. Okay, so it's going to look something like that, and then we just do that for the other 2. So now that we have done that and we've added all of our waves to the vellum backing, we're ready to put our card together. There's really not a lot more to it than that for this first card. So I've chosen one of the Coastal Cabana Designer Series papers for the background of my first card. And I'm just going to go ahead and distress the edges just a little bit. You can do that with your fingernail or the edge of your paper snips or another hard surface like a bone folder. If it tears just a little bit, that's okay. You're looking for that distressed look. Okay, up here in the top right corner, I'm also going to do some folding to give it kind of that folded corner look like it's been worn, and maybe down here in the bottom corner as well. So I'm just going to put it on a card base of thick basic white cardstock. And I am going to angle it just a little bit right on that card base. Next, I'm going to add my waves, and we're going to do this kind of in the middle of our card. So the first one, and you can add the adhesive to the back near the bottom. And you're not going to go all the way over because we're doing a vertical card, and so we're going to be trimming off a little bit of that wave right there. If you want to add any adhesive behind the image here in the back, you just want to make sure it's behind the foil and not on the vellum. And then the second one is going to go in front and down just a little bit and to the left. So you're going to be trimming it off on both sides. You do want the bottom down here to overlap just a little bit. And if there's any areas where the adhesive is showing, you can always cover those up with an embellishment. Then you'll take a pair of paper snips and you can just trim it right along the edge of your card. And then if you have any of these ends that are sticking up, you can just get a little bit of adhesive on the tips and tack them down. So you'll get something that looks like this. So next we're going to add some more color down at the bottom, and I've chosen some different patterns from the Designer Series paper pack. This one has some dark blues and then that coastal cabana that will match nicely. This piece is a 1.5 inch by 4 inch piece, and I'm just going to tear it a little bit on the top and maybe distress the bottom a little bit, and then we'll add it to our card. Fold the corners, maybe roll a little bit of that top where you tore it. Just give it some character and interest. And then that's going to get added down at the bottom, and you can use just regular adhesive for that. And you kind of want to layer these. So give them some space, move it over to the side a little bit. You can roll them up, fold those corners on top of each other. Have some fun with it. Then this piece has some yellow and a little bit of that pink in it. It's a 1 inch by 4 inch piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and tear at the top again. And then distress the edges and the corners. Again, if you tear your paper, that's okay. You're wanting that distressed look. So just make it look like it was intentional by folding up some of those corners, rolling down the top just a little bit. And then you'll add this to your card. Again, layer it, stagger it a little bit. Fold corners over each other so you can get some of that really pretty color in that paper that you can see. So then we're going to add our greeting, and I have already stamped and cut out the "Your Strength is an Inspiration." I've cut it out with the larger label that is part of the coordinating die set, and I've stamped it in Night of Navy, and I've added dimensionals to the back, and I'm just going to place that right in the center, nice and straight on the card. Then I'm going to add a couple birds up in the top right corner, and I'm going to stamp them with Night of Navy ink. And these little birds do come in that stamp set. Just like that. And that card is all done. So for card number 2, I really wanted to highlight some of those other really beautiful colors that are in the DSP. And even though it still has that ocean feel, I wanted to showcase the reds, the pinks, the greens. And so I've cut some pieces And I've done 2 from each pattern. So I've got yellow. They are 1.5 inches by 4 inches. I've gotten some of that beautiful Coastal Cabana color. I have the red color, and then this one's got some of that pink along with the yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from each strip and I'm going to just tear the top, and then we're going to layer these all together on the front of my card base. So this last one I'm not tearing, it's going to be our bottom piece. So I am working on a card base of thick basic white cardstock, and I'm just going to use my liquid adhesive to apply these to my card. So when I place this first one, I want as much of that color to show as possible, which is why I've placed this edge at the bottom and not that edge. And then I just begin adding these over that. I'm looking for maybe about a 1/2 inch gap between each color. You want them to line up on the sides. So I did red, yellow, then I'll do a green, and then we'll do one of the pinks, and then we'll repeat. So since we have 8, after you've done 4, you should be about halfway. If not, then you may need to add a little bigger gaps as you move up your card. So one thing I love about this technique is that you can do it with any designer series paper, and you just get this really beautiful texture and color combination. It's just really gorgeous. Next, we're going to work on this center element. I've got a 3-inch circle that I've cut out with my layering circle dies, and it's in Pool Party. I'm going to use a blending brush and Coastal Cabana ink, and I'm just going to add some color around the outside. I'm not going to place color in the center so that I can get that nice blending look. Okay. The next thing I want to do is place my wave inside that circle and just kind of position it where I think I might want it, because I need to now cut it in that same circle size. So I've got the same circle that I used for my pool party. I'm going to take a little bit of washi tape so that I can hold things in place. So I want it right about there, and then I'm just going to place the circle over the wave and place it so that it's about the same distance around the underneath circle. So I'm kind of lining up my pool party circle with my die, and then I can see where I should cut that wave. And then I'll run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Be right back. So once I've cut that out, now I can adhere it to the circle. And I only want to adhere it at the bottom for now, because I'm going to lift it up and add some clouds underneath. So maybe just the bottom half. And then just match it up with the shape of the circle. Okay, so it's going to look like that, and you can lift up that top flap just a little bit. So next we're going to cut out the clouds. And I think these are just really fun dies. They've got a large cloud here, and this just cuts out the full cloud shape. And then they've got these little dies here that kind of cut out some detailing, and you layer them over the bottom of the cloud. And so I added a little bit of color to the clouds too, so that you can see it just a little bit better. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to add some adhesive sheets to the back for those little die cut detail pieces. So I've got that one right there for that larger one, and then maybe a small one for the small. We'll just stack them on top of each other. Okay, so I know that in the bottom right corner is where I need to place those dies so that they can get some adhesive on them. I'm just going to place a little washi tape over them just to hold them in place. And then I can do the larger ones in the other space. And then I'll run that through my machine. Be right back. Okay, so I've gotten those done, and you can see how cute those little details are and how nice it will be to have the adhesive sheets on them. So I'm going to take the large clouds and I'm going to add just a little color to the bottom. And so this is the same brush that I did the Coastal Cabana, and I'm not really adding more ink because I just want the lightest amount of color to be on the bottom of those clouds. Let's see if you can even see that. It's just very light color. And then when we add these detail dies on top, then we'll be able to see that color a little bit better and these dies. So they just get layered right along that bottom edge. So you can see them just a little better because we've added some color to them. Okay, so just like that. So we're going to now add them to our circle. I'm just going to add a little adhesive to the left side of this larger cloud and tuck it underneath the wave. And then I'm going to actually line up this horizontal line of the wave with my grid paper so that I make sure that my cloud is also horizontal. And then do the same with the little one. And that will just go up on top. Okay, so I have added dimensionals to the back, and I also added them underneath the clouds so that they're supported. And this just goes a little bit higher than center in the middle of your card. So next we're going to stamp the pelican for our card, and we're going to need to use the Stamparatus for this. And I'm also using a silicone craft sheet. We're going to be creating a reversed image. So I'm placing the silicone craft sheet into my Stamparatus. I'm going to hold it in place with the magnets, and then I'm going to take my stamp. So you can see here that the original stamp has the bird facing to the left. So I'm going to place it in the corner of my silicone craft sheet and pick it up with the clear plate. Then I'm going to ink it in Memento black ink. And then stamp it on the silicone craft sheet. And what this is going to do is it's going to transfer the image to the silicone, and we can then pick it up with a piece of cardstock so that we get the reversed image. I like to usually do 2 images, one right on top of the other, before picking it up, just to make sure that I've got ink in all the places. So then you can just lay your cardstock on top and then close again and press. I'm really hoping I've got the bird, the whole bird. There we go. So the nice thing about doing it this way is that you have both the positive and I guess you could say the negative, and you're able to use the coordinating die to cut this out. And I'll show you how you can do that. So with the positive, you're just going to line up your die. It should fit very nicely. Use a little washi tape to hold it in place. And then you're going to run this through, and then it will cut out the back as well. So here is that reverse image, and you can see how well the die cut cuts it out. I want to add just a little bit of color. So I'm going to add some light calypso coral at the tip of the beak and then blend it up with some dark So Saffron and also add a little bit to the top of the head. And then just add a little bit of shadow with my light smoky slate along the belly of the bird. Maybe I'll use my fine tip for that. Okay, so you'll get something that looks like this. If you want to show the whole post, you definitely can. I am only interested in showing a little bit of it. So I'm just going to cut it off right there below the lower top. And this is going to get added to my card with a dimensional on the bird. And that's just going to give it some dimension and pop. And I'll just add it right at the base of that wave. So next I'm going to add my greeting. I've stamped it on the skinny, long coordinating die from the die set. And in just some Memento black ink, I've added adhesive to the center. And I'm just going to place that at the bottom of my circle. If you want to have a little bit of the circle peeking out, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to either. So my first one, I didn't have any peek out, and on this one I did. So the last thing I'm going to add are some of these rhinestone waves basic jewels. And you can choose any color. I'm going to go with this color. It's the third from the right. It's kind of got a kind of a pool party look to it. So it's very soft blue color. And I'm just going to add a large one on there, and maybe the medium one up here at the top by the clouds, and then a small one down by the greeting. Oh, it looks like I have a rogue one who wants to join me. There we go. Okay, and that card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create these beautiful cards using products from the Waves of the Ocean collection. If you're interested in purchasing any of these products, please use the link in the description box below. If you'd like to get written instructions or see close-up images of these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsea.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.